right, well, let's now cross live to Tel Aviv, where we are joined by Arise Chief Correspondent John Cookson. A very warm welcome to the program today, John, and we get straight into it as always. Now, do you think the Israeli Defense Minister saying the ground assault on Gaza could take months means that Israeli forces will start to move in soon?
Hi there, guys. Great to be on Newsday. Well, we'll always get mixed messages, I think, from any military commander. He wants to confuse the enemy, so that's not surprising. My sense of it is, though, that a ground invasion has been delayed, at least for a short while, until Israel carries out more bombing of Hamas, what it calls Hamas targets in Gaza, I think this is a decision ultimately for Netanyahu, of course, who will come under more pressure, as I said, from Western leaders in the coming days. Mr. Rutte from the Netherlands is here, the Prime Minister, and Macron tomorrow, and they'll urge the same two ideas that that there should be a pause in the bombing so humanitarian aid can get in, and also maybe give safe passage to Gazans. So we'll have to see how things develop over the coming days. The other issue is that there are concerns about this conflict becoming a wider one for the region, and American assets are not in place yet to deal with an explosion of violence in the Middle East. The USS Dwight D. Eisenhower aircraft carrier that was scheduled to come to the East Mediterranean and join the Gerald Ford aircraft carrier has now been diverted to either the Red Sea or the Gulf. So it will take a few days for that to happen until American assets are all in place in case there is a wider escalation of this conflict in the region. So my sense at the moment, as I say, is that a ground invasion is not imminent, although last night, not for the first time, Israeli special forces went over the border into Gaza and did some what they call clearing out of Hamas operatives. So you've got all that going on, but the main ground invasion, I think, is some way off.
All right, some way off, you say, but what's happening at the Rafah crossing between Gaza and Egypt today? More convoys being allowed through?
Yes, in the last couple of hours, we had noticed that more trucks had passed through the Rafah crossing from Egypt into Gaza, which is fantastic news, limited though they are in terms of what they're bringing. 12 trucks today, 34 over the weekend, so that's 46 altogether so far, and they include oil tankers, and that's important because the hospitals desperately need oil to keep their generators going. And that's a huge sign of things progressing, and also a good indication that these provisions are not getting into the hands of Hamas, because Israel always said that the whole process would stop if that happened. Now, the fact that the trucks are still crossing indicates that, for now at least, Hamas has not decided to steal any of the medical supplies and other goods, vital goods that are getting across the border. So although the Rafah area was bombed earlier today, it seems that security is good enough for more trucks to get through, and hopefully there'll be some more tomorrow. Although, having said that, the numbers getting through was woefully low. The UN has always said it needs to serve 2 million people in Gaza, and you need 100 trucks a day, and we're a long way off that.
Right, so at least just a little bit of reprieve on the humanitarian front. But what about the hostages? Is there any news about the hostages today?
There was a short update today from the Israelis who say that there are now 222 hostages, they believe, although Hamas has always said there are 250. And a mission by special forces, Israel's special forces, overnight sadly cost the life of an Israeli soldier who was trying to locate some hostages. It's thought that the Israelis have an idea where at least 30 of them are, and of course they're in these underground bunkers and caverns and subterranean caves that the Hamas have built. At the moment, we're looking, by the way, at images from southern Israel of Israeli troops practicing on a shooting range. Again, look, the fact that these images have been released, it's all part of the PR process by the Israel Armed Forces to say, look, we're here, we're ready. And although we're showing a tank at the moment, the fact is that fighting in Gaza is not going to be with tanks. It's going to be hard street-to-street fighting between Israeli soldiers and Hamas operatives.
All right, John, do you think Israel will bow to Western pressure and pause the bombing?
I think there's already the delay that I mentioned earlier. The bombing and images that, like the ones that I showed in my report, of course, go around the world and are shown in millions of homes throughout the world. 70 dead, at least this morning. I mean, I trot out these figures, 70 dead. I mean, it seems in a way petty compared with the 4,000 that are already being killed in Palestine, but in Gaza. But these are 70 men, women and children, brothers, fathers, sisters, daughters. These are real people. I mean, it's just so distressing. And as you can see from these images, Gaza's still being pounded today. That massive explosion near Gaza City, costing more lives. So although I said 70 dead, I mean, it's 3:17 in the afternoon here, there's bound to be dozens more dead as the bombing continues.
Certainly that carnage continues. It's devastating to watch, but we thank you for keeping us abreast with these developments, and we continue to remain optimistic. Thank you, Arise Chief Correspondent.